Hello, everyone, and welcome back to your social media compass. My name is Jaclyn Baker, and I'm excited to be joined by my new friend, Mark Young. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. I live in the joy and the bliss of my cells and organs, so it's a good day.
Wonderful. So tell everyone listening who you are, what you do, where you're from, all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, my name's Mark. I live in the UK. I live in a place called East Sussex, which is a state of the UK. I am the founder and I run the Lose Foundation, and I help people find their inner peace again and live without stress, without trauma, with a very simple method I've invented called the 78-day reset.
Wonderful. How did you get into that?
Mainly to heal myself. So I had a very traumatic life. Spent
Mm,
many years doing talk therapy and trying to heal myself that way. Nothing seemed to work. And I had the pleasure of looking and researching the body, because there's a lot of research out there and science out there now. And they're showing that the body's literally talking to the mind all the time, and it's a loop. So what I did is release the energy from my body. When I did that, miraculously, my thoughts changed and my bipolar, my energy completely shifted, and I don't have bad thoughts. I don't have bad days. I just have joy, because when your body's in that frame, the mind has to follow.
no, I absolutely agree. What's your opinion on like going through phases, if you will? Because sometimes I'll have weeks where I'm like incredibly stressed out, and I'll have weeks where I'm just like in the best mood. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Yeah.
it's because our environment affects us too. So where we are in the environment, if you think, I'm a believer that as a world, we have a world energy, and that world energy sometimes can diminish. When that happens, that can be what can make you have a bad week, or a week where you're feeling flat, etc. It could be something happening in your neighborhood. It just could be as simple as something happening in your house. So for me, we move like waves is the best way to explain it. So when I say that I live in joy and bliss, that doesn't mean I'm always smiling. I'm always like, hey, it means it just means that I go from 100% happy to 80% happy. There is no dip into like 20, 30% happy where you start looking at depression and being really sad. The reason for that is I know that everything's, temporary. It doesn't last for long. And if we have the intent and we have belief in ourselves, we can get through anything. Because most people, if you look through your life, there's moments our brains have told us everything's falling apart, the end of the whole, everything's going to be terrible, especially if you've had a breakup in a relationship, because that is really hard to deal with, because that's a double whammy. Your brain hurts, but also your heart hurts, because
Mhm.
it breaks up. So it doubles it. So for me, we move in waves. So when you talk about that for you, it's quite normal.
Yeah, I also have absolutely noticed, like, if I don't leave the house for a few days, or if I just have too many back-to-back meetings, for example, I just get like a little stressed out, you know?
Hmm. Yeah, that's it. And I think sometimes the reason for that is we're in our own energy too much, in our own mind too much. And as humans, we connect with other humans. That's why if we look at what's happening now after the COVID and what's happening with the youth, they lost that connection in that period, because they didn't get to go to the school, the university, and interact with other adults. Because as nice as it is to talk to you here on the podcast, and I can see
Yeah.
you, I can feel your
Yeah.
energy to a degree. It's not the same as if I sat in the room with you. And that's what our bodies do. They connect. So when I meet someone, my heart energy connects to their heart energy. My lungs, my whole body connects. And that's why when you walk in a room, sometimes you can walk in a room and feel at peace as soon as you walk in. Other times you walk into a room, you feel stressed. That's because our body is really the first signal. The mind is just a translator of what the body's telling it.
I absolutely feel that, because whenever I go and meet up with my friends, I definitely get this burst of like, I don't know what they were. I guess you could say energy. Yeah, like a burst of energy, because I'm excited to be there. I know we're gonna have a good time. So I just feel good, you know?
Yeah. And there's nothing better than being with other humans. It's what we're meant to do. If you think the way the nervous system is created, it's created with your mother and your father. That's your first point of contact for your nervous system. And it's created in that field of energy of love, if you like. That's why when children, I come from a broken home, I was fostered. It means my nervous system learned to find a different way to survive. When that happens, you have to spend sometimes your younger days or other parts of your life finding your own home, your own safety, because our bodies work in safety. when they're in that fear mode, everything falls apart really, and it's very difficult to get things moving forward again.
I hear ya. Like, I'm married right now, but when I was single, when I was dating, I would always get like, a little nervous beforehand. I was like, what if they're not nice? What if I don't like them? What if they don't like me? Like all these like feelings of just like, stress, I guess, anxiety.
Yeah, very much so. And as I'm sure you're recognizing now that you've been married, congratulations. I don't know how long it's been, but
Thanks. Yeah.
congratulations. It's
Yeah.
it's that you connect with your husband on a body level as much as a mind level. What I mean by that is you two can sit together in a room on the couch, not talk to each other probably for half an hour, whatever amount of time is, and feel very comfortable and very connected together. And that's why, have you ever heard people talk about when people are married for a long time, one partner always finishes the sentence for the other partner?
Yeah.
It's because they're so connected by their bodies that the minds are connected as well. So it just has that beautiful energy. And that's what I love. When you fall in love with someone, we think we do it with our minds. But the truth of it is our parts do it and our body does it because it just connects with their own aura, their own energy.
Absolutely. Sometimes I'm like, guess what I'm thinking? And then he knows.
Yeah.
Or he'll ask me a question. I'm like, you already know what I'm going to say.
Yeah, and the longer you're married, the more that'll happen. My wife just gives me the answers straight away, so she just smiles at me. She tells me she can tell what I'm thinking just by my face.
Yeah, or if he's ordering something on Amazon, he's like, like, what color do you want? Like, with this, with that. And I'm like, you already know, like, what my favorite color is.
And what is your favorite color?
Oh, it depends on the item. If it's something like home decor related, I prefer something like a beigey white, so it stays like clean, I guess you could say, and it matches our current decor. But if it's like clothes or like an accessory, I like around like a green or a blue or a pink.
Nice. I'm more of an orange, but today
I have a lot of different variations. Depends what the item is.
Yeah, and that's I'm sure it also depends on your mood as well and how you're feeling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. We were gonna buy, or actually we did end up buying baby earphones because our fire alarm has been going off a lot lately, like for tests. So we were like nervous for our baby, and I was like, get something, like green or something in that kind of family that's gender neutral. So if we have this again with another kid, we could keep using it. And he's like, I knew you were gonna say that.
And how old's your child?
Just under 6 months. He'll be 6 months in about a week.
Congratulations, you're looking good.
Thanks.
You don't look tired at all.
He sleeps through the night, so we're very
okay. You're very lucky.
He started sleeping through the night at around 4.5 months.
Wow. Well, he's obviously feeling very safe in the environment.
Yeah, we're not sure if it was luck, it was something we did, but we're not complaining.
No, don't complain.
Yeah, wonderful. So how do you mostly promote, what you do?
Very badly.
Do you have a system in place, or is it kind of just like day by day?
It's only really being word of mouth. I'm only really on LinkedIn. I have a good following that grows on LinkedIn, but I have a very small account on Instagram and TikTok that I hardly ever post. But I do no real outreach, so I'm not emailing people. I'm not offering the reset to people. It's mainly people that see what I do, see my work, and then contact me and ask me about the reset. And then obviously I explain what it is.
Yeah. How often are you posting on your socials right now?
On LinkedIn, I post every day. So
good, wonderful.
One or two posts every day.
Okay.
I've started posting a lot of videos because I have a backlog of conversations that I've had over the last year. And I take little clips of that and I put that on LinkedIn at the moment because I find LinkedIn a good way to get your message out there. And I'm blessed to have good response from people, and people resonate with what I do because we all know that, we can heal ourselves. And when you can heal yourself and given the tools to do so, it makes life wonderful, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to ask, did you get a solid amount of leads from your LinkedIn?
If I'm honest, I don't get as many as I need, but that's part of it. I'm growing. I've only been on LinkedIn doing this for just over a year, really. So
not long.
Yeah, not long. So I'm new. I grow by about 1,000 followers every month. So people that are watching are intrigued with what I do, and I am starting to do more outreach to look for more help from people with the foundation, the Lose Foundation, because I want to grow it. I want more people involved. So, I would ask if there's anyone out there that would like to be more involved, reach out to me, because I am looking for partners, people to collaborate with, and just really get that message of love out into the world again. Because I believe when we change one person's vibration to love, they change the person next to them to vibration to love. And it's just like that ripple effect and goes out there. And that's why I started doing what I'm doing, heal myself, then heal one other person. And it grew into what it is today.
No, that's wonderful. I'll have to check out all your videos in much more detail later on and get a better idea.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. And how did you find your blueprint?
Yeah, so I do a lot of different activities. Social media is definitely one of the best ways that I get a solid amount of my leads. LinkedIn specifically, I absolutely feel like everyone kind of has their one or two platforms that give them the most success. It's super unlikely to have like 100% success on, 6 or 7 different platforms because it's different audiences, it's different styles. But folks on LinkedIn definitely resonate with me. So I absolutely appreciate that.
Yeah, I like the fact that LinkedIn is a little like Instagram now. It's much more open to people sharing their stories.
Yeah, it's more casual. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that 4 or 5 years ago, it was very professional and it was sort of frowned upon if you were talking about your life. Whereas now, I think people are looking for lived experience because we've realized that's if someone's has an experience of what they've lived through and they have a solution to help, then we should listen to it and take notice. Whereas what happened in America with, I think it was Oxycontin, the drug companies, and how they changed all the case studies and all the research and lied, I think it's shown people that you can't really always trust it. If someone says, oh, this pill is wonderful, it had a case study, or we've done this research. Yeah, but how do I know you didn't make that research false to make me pretend that pill was good? Whereas if I see someone and says, like, look, I did this, I did that, and I healed myself, I'm like, well, I'll listen to it because they're not going to lie about that. They can't. So it's much better when I see that for me.
I hear you. I also feel like I see a lot more like engagement announcements and, birth announcements on LinkedIn than I used to, even, a couple of years ago.
Yeah, there's a lot more. And I like it. For me,
I like it too.
It suits me what I do. And, I think for anyone that, how should I put this? Anyone that doesn't like it, I understand their feelings, but professional doesn't mean boring. It doesn't mean don't share who you are. It just means you have a certain level of decorum that you'll follow. And what I see with LinkedIn, that's what people do. It's not like it's TikTok or Instagram. Not that they're bad places. They just have a different audience.
Yeah. You know what else I really appreciate? I like when people share actual screenshots that prove what they're doing is legit, Like I really respect when people show like the back end of their Google Analytics or they show like back ends of their Google reviews because they're real and they're not, edited in AI.
Yeah,
I really appreciate that.
That's for sure. And that's the biggest thing now on a lot of other platforms. There's so much AI out there that is trying to manipulate, because I don't think AI is a bad thing. I just think it's a bad thing if it's trying to tell you a false story, because that's what I don't like. I like when people use AI and they're upfront about it. It doesn't matter. There's some wonderful AI generated content on LinkedIn. Wonderful.
Yeah, agree.
And one of the I funny, I had a conversation about it yesterday. They put that button on LinkedIn called the AI.
Yeah.
And as soon as that went on there, some guy commented on one of my posts or one of my comments, and I use the word all the time, Grand Rising. That's what I say. Every post I post, I say Grand Rising to the person. It comes from the Caribbean. It's a spiritual thing that is, instead of saying good morning, that's, really the basis of it.
Yeah,
I do it because of the energy change. On my post, he put, it still shocks me, to be honest, but on my post, he put, this is obviously AI generated because anything that says Grand Rising is from AI.
Yeah, I've had similar comments on my own stuff. Yeah.
And what it struck me was they're setting up a system where people can complain about your work, whatever it may be, based on an assumption. And my argument to LinkedIn would be very simple. I don't mind if you do that, but can we have another one that says human slop? Because sometimes what I see on there, I think that's slop, because that's my opinion. Doesn't mean it is. It's just my opinion. There is no real way to tell if something's AI or not AI. There's many tools out there that have tried to do it. It's been proved that they don't work. So for me, what's important is not what it generated the work, it's what the work says. That's the important part, what the energy of the work says. People like to say, well, AI makes everyone copy each other. Well, I'm sorry, but on social media, I've seen Rumi quoted millions of times. Does that mean everyone's quoted Rumi and they should get a tick against them for doing it? So I think we should just open up more to the fact that AI is part of our world. If someone uses it to generate top content and it's boring, don't go on there and look at it. For me, it just makes sense.
Yeah, you know what I see really often actually? I'll see folks make social media captions and then they'll leave the AI prompt in by accident.
Mm.
Like
Yeah.
they'll say like, hey, make this post sound more fun. And then they'll put the post in.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm like, you should double check your work.
Yeah. And for me, it's just a tool, because I was blessed now, not at the time. When I was younger, I was quite naughty at school and I was in English literature. And what happened, the teacher in there didn't like me because I was naughty and told me I had to go in the typing class. As a young boy, I was 12 at the time, going into the typing class was like, I didn't think it was great, but I'll be honest, it was full of girls. So I was okay. I thought, yeah, it doesn't matter. But the teacher was a woman called Mrs. Burns, a little old Scottish lady. And she used to be very strict. And because I kept looking at the keyboard, she gave me a blank typewriter. So what it did, it taught me to touch type. I have RSA stage 1 and RSA stage 2. I don't type as well as I used to, but I still type quickly. So for me, I can do about 40, 50 words a minute that I can put into AI and say, this is what I'm saying, etc., and have it cleaned up into something that is better English. That's all it is. And as with my friend yesterday, I said, no one seems to complain about spell check because that's another system that changes what we do. So, yeah, I just think live and let live, really.
Like before AI was, so popular, I used to use a software called Grammarly, if you're familiar with it.
Well, I've heard of it. Yeah, I haven't.
Yeah, no, it was really helpful. Yeah, so it would underline typos, like grammar issues, that kind of thing. So super, super helpful. But now you could just copy and paste your blogs into whatever AI tool you use and have it clean up any typos and stuff like that.
Yeah, so it was useful and helped people, which is really what AI is doing. Because to be honest, the 78-day reset wouldn't be here if it wasn't for AI, because I wouldn't have been able to do the research into the case studies, into the white papers out there, because everything in the reset is backed up by some sort of science, because I use water therapy in it. I use tonal work in it. I use mirror work, candle work. All these are parts of what is now out there in science that all the major companies are getting into. And all I've really done is put it in a package of 12 pillars that allow each person to go through a rhythmic dance with themselves, if you like, over them 78 days. Yeah. And at the end of it, and feeling more at peace with themselves, because we saw so much energy in us that we hide from ourselves sometimes, that when you let that out, it changes your whole thought process. Because when the vagus nerve, 80-90% of the signal goes up the vagus nerve. So it means the body's always talking to the mind, and then the mind answers the body. It's a looping system that we have.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. I feel like you're saying so many good pieces of wisdom. I'm like, I've never even heard of that. And I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah, most people don't know about the vagus nerve and the signal.
No, I'm not so familiar.
It's mainly because how can I put this? The brain has been put on a pedestal for so long, it's hard to understand that the brain isn't controlling everything. It's important. We need the brain. I did research on starfish, and the only difference between a starfish and a human is a starfish has no brain, but it has memories and it does exactly the same sort of stuff we can do. That's why I talk a lot about, for my clients, the first thing I ask them to do is cut their brain out of the conversation, their mind, listen to their body. So if you meet someone and your stomach grumbles, don't listen to the words they're saying, listen to your stomach. put your hand on your heart, feel the heartbeat, and then put it on the stomach so you connect the two. You
I
know,
agree.
there's Qigong out there. Part of the work I do is like Qigong. You tap. That allows you to release the meridians in the body, because our feet are, if you've ever had someone massage your feet, they can put your certain points on your feet and you can feel that on certain points in your body. So for me, all I've really done is take some ancient teachings, put them ancient teachings with science, and use some of what I have as a spiritual person and put them all together. Because for me, spirit, body, mind is
Yeah.
the way to heal us.
Yeah. What can we expect to see from you in the next couple years or so?
I'm hoping I'm working on a website at the moment with
Okay.
someone that is going to have, funny, we were talking about AI, it's going to have an AI version of what I do. So it'll be
Okay.
something people can tap into. They can do it on their own. They'll get a version of the 78-day reset that they'll be able to do each day. They'll get their own blueprint. The reason for that is when I work with people, the cost escalates, obviously, because it takes time
Yeah.
and it's not something that's cheap. Whereas I want someone that doesn't have any money or much money, can go onto a website, put in their name, their date of birth, get their own unique blueprint, unique to them, and then get a 78-day reset that is unique to them as well. And they can go through the different rituals, affirmations that they need to do, because each reset starts on the organs that is specific to you. So for some people that's the heart, some people that's the lung, gallbladder. Every reset is unique. You can't write one the same, because we're not the same. And I think in healthcare, we're too busy trying to get a gadget that we put on and we say, that's it, this will fix us, this is wonderful. And we're all different. We all have different environments, like we were talking about earlier. The environment you're in affects how you feel. So some people, you can have two people, twins, brought up in the same house, same environment, same parents, but their energy is different. They don't grow up the same people. They grow up two different people. And that energy has to be used for them and not as a whole.
No, I totally agree. Like the people you spend your time with absolutely have a huge impact.
Yeah, very much so. And probably the biggest impact on us, that's really where the blueprint comes from. The blueprint that I generate, that is an energy of when you're from the age of 0 to 7. Because what happens vibrationally, our cells and our organs vibrate. When they vibrate, they multiply. That's how we grow. So with my name, Mark, my body actually grew with that vibration of the name Mark. Then you have Anthony, my middle name, then Young. That is how my body grew. Not so much by Young, because not many people when I was a child said Mark Anthony Young or Mark Young. But when you go to school, they use that name sometimes. So it just allows me to tap into the energy of someone.
Wonderful. What's the best way we can get in touch with you and connect with you?
The best way is LinkedIn. If on LinkedIn, I'm on there. I have a website, Luz Foundation, www.co.uk, Luz Foundation. And, people can get me on my email, which is markyoung@luzfoundation.co.uk.
Wonderful. Yeah, I'm going to put all of your info in the show notes below so people could easily copy, paste, and then follow you online.
Perfect. I appreciate that. Perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to connect. I really do appreciate it.
No, I've had fun. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, and thank you everyone for listening. I hope you all enjoyed learning a bit more about Mark. I absolutely did. Again, all of his info will be in the show notes below, so be sure to go send him some love and support. And until next time, I'll see you all in the next episode. Bye, everybody.